Hello student, let's continue with our previous topic that last time we have started, that was regarding the bottom up parsing. And in the bottom up parsing, already the two techniques already we have discussed. First was the shift reduce parsing, and after that operator precedence parsing we have discussed. So today we'll discuss the some more techniques in case of the bottom up parsing. In that today we'll discuss about the LR0 parsing and the SLR1 parsing. Okay. Now already we have discussed number of times why we require the parsing, which is another name for the syntax analysis. So main purpose of parsing is nothing but to check whether the particular given string or the sentence is syntactically correct or not. So for that purpose, we do the parsing. And there are the two main techniques for checking the string is syntactically correct or not. In that first already we have discussed, that was the top-down parsing, and second important is the bottom-up parsing, which we are discussing. So bottom-up parsing also divided into the two or more categories, and in that the general two techniques already we have discussed, the shift reduce technique and the operator precedence parsing. So all the parsers which are come under the category of bottom-up parsing generally have the reference of this technique, shift reduce parsing, that you can see in the further technique also. Okay, so these two already we have finished. Now second important category we have in case of the bottom-up parsing, that is the table driven parsers. And in case of the table driven parsers, there are these four important techniques are there, okay, which we are going to discuss. So today we'll discuss first and second, LR0 and the SLR1, and then next time we will discuss the remaining two. Okay, so let's start with the LR0 parser. So just like in case of the top-down parsing, we have seen we have to utilize the different data structure to parse the particular string or the sentence, or to check the particular sentence whether it is syntactically correct or not. We have to use the different data structure, like we have to utilize a parsing table, then we have to utilize the stack, and also some function we have to utilize to parse particular string. So in case of the top-down parsing, we have seen the kind of function we have to utilize are the first and follow kind of functions. So here, in case of the LR0, which is the technique of bottom-up parsing, we are going to utilize the same thing, like parsing table also we are going to utilize, but way of constructing this parsing table will be different as compared with the predictive top-down parsing. Also, we have to utilize the stack. The working of the stack is similar, just like that we have discussed in the stack in case of the predictive parser of top-down. And here some technique also or some functions also we have to utilize for parsing or to check the syntax of the string. And these functions are different from that function we have utilized in case of the predictive top-down parsing. Okay. So all the parsers in the sense for LR0, SLR1, CLR, and LALR, the process of parsing is same. Okay, the process of parsing is same, and only thing which is different is nothing but how we are going to construct the parsing table. That thing is only the different in case of this particular LR0 LR0 bottom up parsing. Okay. Now let's see the now before we actually do the parsing using the LR0 parser, we have to see the different things related with that, and because we have to utilize that in the parsing particular string with the help of the LR0 parser. So first thing we need to discuss is regarding the canonical collection of items or canonical collection of the LR0 items. Now in case of the LR parsers, as we have discussed, these are the 4 different techniques are there. So For the first two techniques, LR0 and SLR1, we have to utilize the canonical collection of LR0 items. Now, what is the canonical collection? What is the item that in the further part we will see? Here just you focus. For the first two techniques, LR0 and the SLR1, we have to utilize the canonical collection of the LR0 items. And for the third and the fourth technique, we have to utilize the canonical collection of LR1 items. Okay, in case of the third and fourth, we have to utilize the canonical collection of LR1 items. So as you can see here, as already I told you, to construct the parsing table for LR0 and the SLR1, we use the canonical collection of LR0 items. Okay. And to construct the parsing table for LALR1 and the CLR1, we have to utilize the canonical collection of LR1 items. Now, as I said, for the constructing and for parsing the particular string, we have to utilize the different data structure for the LR parsers. In that, we have the stack, we have the input buffer, we require the LR parsing algorithm, and we have to construct the LR parsing tables. Okay. Now, second important thing here, after the canonical collection, as we have discussed, we have to utilize the canonical collection of LR0 items for constructing the parsing table. Okay. Second important thing here is we have to utilize the two important functions here. The first important function is a closure, and the second important function is the goto function. Just like in case of the predictive top-down parsing, we have seen we require the two important function to construct the parsing table. That two important function where the first and follow we have utilized, and according to the first and follow, we have constructed the parsing table for predictive parser. But in case of LR0 parser, we have to utilize the different functions. In that, first is a closure function and second is the goto function. Now, what exactly that we will see in the further section. Okay. Now, next important term that we have to understood when we are doing the bottom-up parsing using the LR0 parser, that is the another kind of or another category of grammar, that is the augmented grammar. Okay, that is the augmented grammar. Okay, so if now what exactly mean by the augmented grammar is, let's see. If there is a particular, if G is the particular grammar, and in that particular grammar G, there is a starting symbol S, then we will call the G dash as the augmented grammar for the grammar G, and it is the grammar with the new starting symbol S dash, and the production S dash derives S. Okay. Now, this is the theoretical content. We will see in the example also. Now, let's see suppose this is the grammar we have given. This is the original grammar given. S derives the A derives the AA, and again A derives the B. Now, how we can generate the augmented grammar for this original grammar is like this. What we have to do, you have to introduce the new non-terminal here by referring the starting symbol S. Okay, what you have to do, you have to introduce the new non-terminal by referring the starting symbol S. So here we have introduced the new non-terminal S dash. Okay, and by introducing that non-terminal S dash, you have to derive the starting symbol of original grammar. So what was our starting symbol of original grammar? S. So here we have introduced the new non-terminal S dash, and using that S dash, we derive the new non-terminal, that is S, which is nothing but the starting symbol of our original grammar. The same thing is mentioned in this definition also. Only change is here. Here we have mentioned here the grammar as a G, and here okay, here our starting symbol is S. Okay, so here what is same thing we have done here. If G is the grammar with the starting symbol S, so this is our grammar. Okay, this is our grammar with the starting symbol S. Then G dash is nothing but this augmented grammar. Then G dash is the augmented grammar for this grammar G, and this augmented grammar G dash is with the new starting symbol. Now here for this augmented grammar, our starting symbol is S dash, and its production is deriving the S. So that is being referred as a what? Augmented grammar. So when we are doing the parsing using the LR parsers, means any technique of LR parser, it may be LR0, SLR1, LLR1 or the CLR. First thing you have to do is nothing but what? First thing you have to do is nothing but you have to augment the grammar. Means from the given grammar, you have to generate the augmented grammar. So this is the mandatory or compulsory thing when you are doing the parsing using the LR parsers. So that is the augmented grammar. Now, why we require the augmented grammar? That is the question. Okay. So the main purpose of having this augmented grammar is nothing but it gives the idea to the parser where the parsing should stop. Okay, main purpose is nothing but what? It gives idea to the parser where parsing should stop. Okay, and using the augmented grammar, the parser can get the idea about the acceptance of the input string. Okay, what using this augmented grammar, parser can get the idea about acceptance of the input string. Means whether the string is accepted or not, to decide that, the augmented grammar is utilized in case of the LR parsers of the bottom-up parsing technique. Okay, that in the example we will see. Here you have to just keep in mind how to create the augmented grammar from given original grammar. And second thing you have to keep in mind why it is required. Why it is required? To check whether the whether particular string can be accepted or not. If the string is accepted, then parsing can be stopped at that particular point. If the string is not accepted, then syntactical error can be generated. So to just announce whether the string is accepted or not, there is a utilization of augmented grammar. Okay. Now let's see the next important terms in the LR0 parsers is LR0 items. Now, what do you mean by the LR0 items? Let's see here. Now, suppose this is the production given S derives non-terminal ABC. Okay. Now, what exactly mean by the item or LR0 item? So here I have mentioned an LR0 item. LR0 item is the item of a grammar G, where the production of grammar G with the dot at some position in the right hand side. If in the grammar, if in the given grammar, if we put dot at some position in the right hand side of that grammar, then that particular grammar is called as a grammar with the LR0 items. Same thing I have mentioned, and LR0 is the item of the grammar G, is a production of G with the dot at some position on the right hand side. So see in the example, this is the example S derived with the ABC. Now if you if we put dot on, now this is the left hand side of the grammar and this is the right hand side of the grammar. Okay, now if you put dot at this starting point of this right hand side ABC, then this become the LR0 items. Okay, so LR0 item simply means what? If we put dot at some position in the right hand side of the grammar, what if we put dot in the some position at the right hand side of the grammar, that grammar is called as a grammar with the LR0 items. Now why we need to utilize the items and what exactly it indicates? Let's see. Okay, this is the original grammar given. Okay, we put the dot at the starting of this ABC, means this grammar now become the grammar with the LR0 items. Okay, now what is the meaning of this dot at the starting of ABC? Now dot at the starting of ABC indicates that parser has not seen anything until. What? Parser has not seen anything up till now. Means up till now parser has not started parsing the string. Okay, parser has not seen anything of your input string. Okay, so it means parser has not started the parsing. Now second case here I have mentioned, here I have moved the dot from this position to the another position here. Now what it indicates? It indicates the parser has seen the particular string or the character A only. What it indicates? Parser has seen the string or the character A only, because dot on the right hand side of A indicate what? The parser has already seen this character A. Next case, if I move the dot to the right hand side of B and like this, it indicate parser has seen the string AB. What it indicates? Parser has already seen the string AB but parser has not seen this particular character C now. Okay. Another case I have mentioned here, directly I have moved the dot from left hand side of C to the right hand side here. You can see now what it indicates that the parser has seen whole string ABC, means parser has seen whole string ABC. And now what exactly it means? Parser has seen whole string ABC. It indicates that the parser has checked and examined this string ABC, and what it indicates, after seeing what it indicates, now parser is ready to reduce the string ABC now. So the parser can reduce the string ABC to S now. Parser can do what? Parser can reduce the string ABC to S now. Okay. So dot at the right hand side of this whole string indicates this is the final item. Dot at the right hand side of this whole string indicate what? This is the final item, in the sense parser has seen all this string now. And when the parser has seen all this string now, parser can take the decision of reduction of this ABC to the S. Because in case of the bottom up parsing, we perform the reduction. We do what? We reduce the right hand side to the left hand side. Okay, means we replace the right hand side with the left hand side. Now why this item is required? Now first thing you need to understand what exactly the item is. So item is nothing but what? If there is a dot on the right hand side of, if there is a dot at some position in the right hand side of the grammar, that particular grammar is called as a grammar with the LR0 items. Okay. Now what is the meaning of this dot at particular different position? That I have explained you. Dot at the starting position of this string indicate what? Parser has not seen anything. Dot at next point indicate parser has seen A only. Dot at next point it indicate parser has seen the string AB. And dot at the most right hand side of this particular string indicates that parser has seen everything from the right hand side. And now parser has seen everything from the right hand side of that grammar, so parser can do the action of reduction. Okay, so why it is necessary here I have mentioned, because the main decision being taken during the bottom up parsing is nothing but when the parser should do the reduction. Now during the top down parsing, we have seen the main decision that has to be taken is nothing but when the derivation should be done. But in case of the bottom up parsing, the main decision has to be taken is nothing but when parser should do the reduction. That is what? Replacing right hand side of the grammar with the left hand side. Okay, so these LR0 items, using the LR0 items, we can do the reduction to the LHS only when the entire string from the right hand side, when parser see the entire string from the right hand side, and that indication that parser has seen entire string from the right hand side, that indication is given by whom? That indication is given by the LR0 items, means this dot. Okay, this dot indicates parser has seen everything from the RHS. Now if the parser has seen everything from the RHS, it means the reduction can be done, and reduction can be done is nothing but what? This ABC can be replaced by the S. Okay, so the main purpose of utilizing the item in the bottom of parsing and in that LR0 parser is nothing but what? It gives the idea to the parser when the reduction should be done. Instead of blankly doing the reduction, the item gives the idea when the reduction should be done, and it indicates what? When the dot is present on the rightmost side of this particular string, there is a nothing after this. If there is a nothing after this dot, it indicates what? The reduction can be done, means right hand side can be replaced with the left hand side. Okay, so simply we can say LR0 item tells us whether it is the right time to do the reduction or not. In short, we can keep in mind LR0 item tells what? That dot tells what? Whether the reduction can be done or not, or whether it is the right time to do the reduction or not. Because everything depends on the reduction. When the parsing of the string is going on, everything depends on the when the reduction action is performed in case of the bottom up parsing. So that is the LR0 item. Okay. So simply the main summary you can take out from this nothing but item is nothing but what? Dot present at the any position, at some position in the right hand side of the grammar, and there is a specific meaning at which particular position dot is present. That specific meaning here I have told you. Okay, and why we are utilizing the item? To take the decision, in order to help to the parser to take the decision when the reduction should be done. And when the reduction can be done, when there is a nothing after this dot, okay, then the reduction can be done. Okay, so there is a nothing after dot. It indicates what? This is the final state. It indicates what? This is the final state. Means if the parser has reached to the final state, so it indicates what? The reduction can be done. So dot at the rightmost side here, it indicates this. This indicates this as a final item or the final state. And if the parser has reached to the final state, indicate from that the parser can take the decision of reduction. Okay. Next important term is nothing but the closure. Okay, closure term or the closure operation. What do we mean by the closure operation? Okay, as I said, you have to utilize the two important function in case of the LR0 parsing and in case of the LR parsing. That is, the first is nothing but the closure operation. Okay. Now, what do you mean by the closure? See here, first we read the definition and then in the example I will tell you. When there is a dot to the left of any variable in the sense when there is a dot to the left of any non-terminal in the grammar, we have to add all the production of that variable. We have to add all the production of that non-terminal with dot at the beginning. That is called as a closure operation. What is it? Whenever there is a dot to the left of any non-terminal, this non-terminal word is very important. If there is a dot present at the at the left of terminal, then there is no need to perform the closure operation. Closure operation is performed when there is a dot present to the left of any non-terminal. So here I have mentioned, whenever there is a dot to the left of any variable or non-terminal, we have to do what? We have to add all the production of that variable. We have to add all the production of that non-terminal. How we have to add it? We have to add all the production of that non-terminal with dot at the beginning. With the dot at the beginning. Okay, let's see it in the example. Okay, let's see it in the example. Okay, now here this is our augmented grammar. Our original grammar, you know, our original grammar was like this: S derives AA, okay, and then A derives A or B. This was our original grammar. Okay, now I told you for doing the LR parsing, first thing we have to perform is nothing but what? We have to convert that particular given grammar into the augmented grammar. Okay, and so here that is the reason what we have done here. We have converted that grammar into the augmented grammar. Okay, so augmented grammar will be like this for this grammar. Okay, now let's see what is the closure here. Now you can see S dash derives S. So here we add the dot at the beginning of this S. What is dot is present at the beginning of the S. Now what is this S? S is a terminal or non-terminal? S is the non-terminal. What? S is a non-terminal. What is the closure operation is saying? When there is a dot to the left of any non-terminal, so there is a dot to the left of this non-terminal S. So what we have to do? We have to add all the production of that non-terminal with the dot at the beginning. So non-terminal. So we have to add the production related with the S, non-terminal with the dot. So what is the production related with the S here? S derives AA. And you have to add the production related with the S as a non-terminal with the dot at the beginning. So S derives, production is what? S derives AA. So you have to add that production and the dot at the beginning. Okay. Again, you can see this A is also non-terminal. Okay. So again, you have to add the production related with this non-terminal A also. Now, what is the production related with the non-terminal A? A derives AA or B. So here you add the production with the dot at the beginning. A derives dot AA or A derives dot B. So this is nothing but the closure operation. This is what the closure operation. Whenever there is a dot to the left of any variable or non-terminal, we have to add all the production of that variable with the dot at the beginning. Okay. So this is the closure operation. Now, what is the go to operation? So go to operation is nothing but the moving from one state to the another state. Okay. Now this closure operation and the go to operation, this both of these operation we have to utilize when we are going to do the canonical collection of LR0 items. Okay. When we have to do the canonical collection of LR0 items, we have to apply these two operations. First is the closure operation and then is the go to operation. What is the go to operation? Go to operation is nothing but what? Moving from one state to the another state. Okay. We will see that in the example. Now, final item, any item with the dot at the end is called as a final item. Means any production, suppose there is a production like this, S derives AA dot. Now this is this particular production with the dot at the end is called as a final item. Okay, or here also I have mentioned S derive the ABC dot. This is called as a final item. Any production or any item with the dot at the end is called as the final item. Okay, keep in mind. Or it can be also considered as a final state also. Now, as already we have discussed, in order to do the LR parsing, we have to utilize some data structure like we require the stack, we require the input buffer, and we require the parsing table, and we require the LR parsing algorithm, etc., etc. Now let's understand why we require this and what exactly the role being played by these different data structure. So we require the input buffer here. Here you can see. Now input buffer, is used to indicate the particular, what we can say, it contain the our input itself, and it contains our input string and followed by the dot symbol. Okay, what the input buffer contains? It contains our input string with the dot at the end of that input string. Okay, sorry, dollar at the end of that input string. Okay, so input buffer contain the whatever the input string that parser need to be parsed. Okay, then stack we have. So stack is used to contain the sequence of grammar symbols. Now when we are doing the parsing, different grammar symbols get generated. That grammar symbols will be entered on the stack. Okay, and at the bottom of the stack there is always dollar used to be there. Okay, dollar always used to be the bottom of the stack. Then we have to utilize the parsing table. So this is the parsing table we will see in the example. We have to utilize the parsing table, which is the two-dimensional array. And in that parsing table, we have the two components. One is the action part, and second component is the go-to part. Okay, that in the example we will see. So these three important data structure we require: input buffer used to contain the input string that parser need to be parsed. Stack contain the sequence of grammar symbol that will be generated when parsing process will carry on. And parsing table contain the two components, action part and the go-to part. Okay. Now as in the predictive parsing also, we have seen how to parse the particular string. There also we have to follow the certain steps. Now in case of the LR0 parsing also, we have to follow the certain steps. Okay. And what are that certain steps? These are the certain steps or the stages. Okay. So first stage, when you want to parse some string using the LR0 parsing. So first step is nothing but what? You have to generate the augmented grammar. That is, here I have mentioned add in the augmented grammar. Whatever the original grammar is given, that original grammar has to be converted into the augmented grammar. That is the first thing. Okay. Now, second thing is what? After generation of augmented grammar, second thing is what? Generation of canonical collection of LR0 items or generation of DFA. Okay. What is the second stage? Generation of canonical collection of LR0 items. Third step, construction of LR0 parsing table. Third important step is what? Construction of the LR0 parsing table. Fourth, parsing the input string and generation of the parse tree, and from that the decision can be announced whether the string is accepted or the not. So we'll take the example, and step by step we'll try to understand how the LR0 parser parse the particular string. Okay, let's see the example. First step is nothing but adding the augmented grammar. Now consider we have given the particular string. This is the string we have given, AABB. Now this string has to be parsed using the LR0 parser. Okay, and in order to parse this string, we have to parse this string in the sense we have to check whether this string is syntactically correct or not. And for that purpose, we have given this grammar. Grammar as a S derives AA, is A derives AA or B. This is the grammar given. Now, first stage we have to perform is nothing but what? Create the augmented grammar. Now, how to create the augmented grammar? Already I told you. You have to take the, we have to introduce the new non-terminal with the dash, that is S dash, deriving the starting symbol S. Okay, so from that, and next thing we have to write as it is. S derives AA, A derives AA or B. This is your augmented grammar. Okay, this is what your augmented grammar. This is the first step. Okay, now next step after getting the augmented grammar, next and most important step, generation of canonical collection of LR0 items. What? Generation of canonical collection of LR0 items. Now from the first step, we have got this augmented grammar. From the first step, we have got this augmented grammar. Now to this augmented grammar, we convert this augmented grammar by adding some dot. What we'll do now? We'll add the dot in this grammar. Okay. So we'll start adding the dot at the starting of this particular non-terminal S dot here. Now, after adding the dot here, you can see next thing you have to do here, as I said, in order to generate the canonical collection of LR0 items, we have to utilize the two important operations. First is the closure operation and second is the goto operation. Now, what is the closure operation? I already told you. If there is a, if we now, it is compulsory, we have to add dot at the starting of this particular non-terminal. Okay. Now, after adding the dot to the left of this non-terminal S, definitely next step you have to perform is nothing but the applying the closure operation. Okay. So if you add the closure operation here, you have to add the production related with this non-terminal S with the dot at the beginning. So here you add the production related with this non-terminal S with the dot at the beginning. Again, there is a dot at the left of the non-terminal A. So you have to add the production related with this non-terminal A. So production related with this non-terminal A are the this AA and the B. So you add it also. A derives the small A derives dot AA or A derives small b. And here your closure operation get complete. What? Here your closure operation get complete. And this is become your first step, that is the I0. Okay. So initially you have to convert the given grammar into the augmented grammar, and you have to give the dot at the starting. You have to give the dot at the left of the starting symbol S here, and then you have to apply the closure. So here we apply the closure operation. Okay. Then next we have to apply the goto operation. Now goto, I have told you, moving from one state to the another. Now here we apply the goto on this first production. Now goto on the non-terminal S. Goto on the non-terminal S. Okay, so you apply the goto and you go to the another state, that is the I1. And when you apply the goto, again next thing you have to apply is the closure operation. Okay, what you have to apply the closure operation. Okay, now here our first production is was S dash derives dot S. Okay, now we apply the goto operation, and then next we have to apply. So in the goto operation, you have to move the dot also. Okay, you have to move the dot also. So this production is was S dash derives the dot S. Now goto is nothing but from moving from one particular state to the another state on certain symbol, and moving the dot from left of particular non-terminal, moving the dot from left of particular symbol to the right of particular symbol. So we go from this state to the another state on the non-terminal S. Now we have to move the dot from left of that particular non-terminal to the right. So dot was present at the left of S here. So we move it to the right and we get this state here now I1. Okay, so here we have got the state S dash derive the S dot. Now after the dot there is a nothing. So this is considered as one of the final item. This is considered as one of the final item. Okay, but this is the final item which we have got using the which kind of grammar? Augmented grammar. Okay, so understand what is the go to moving from one state to the another state by doing what? By moving the dot from left of particular symbol to the right. Okay, so this is the go to operation. Okay, and after now can the closure operation can be performed here? No, there is no need to perform the closure. So here we will complete this state. Next, again we have to perform the go to operation. Now go to on the non-terminal A, because dot is present here before the non-terminal A. So go to on the A. So we have to move the symbol, we have to move the dot from left of non-terminal A to the right. So we move the dot from the left of this non-terminal A to the right, and we get this production A dot A. What? A dot A. Now, is there need to perform the closure operation now after performing the go to operation? Now, what go to operation we have performed? We move the dot from left of particular non-terminal. We move the dot from left of particular symbol to the right. This is the go to operation we have performed. We have performed the go to here on the non-terminal A. We move the dot from this left of this symbol to the right. Now, is the closure operation needing here? Yes, because dot is present on the left of this non-terminal A. So you have to add the production related with this non-terminal A. So production related with this non-terminal A are nothing but what? A derives dot AA or A derives dot B. Okay. Can the closure operation need to be performed again? No. So this state also get completed, and we name this state as I2. Okay. Next, here in case of this production rule, now this is the closure operation we have performed. After the closure, you have to perform the go to. So go to on the terminal A. Go to on the terminal A. We move to the next state. Here you have to now, when you are moving to the next state, you have to perform the go to operation by moving the dot from left of particular symbol to the right. So here we move the left dot from particular left of particular symbol to the right. So here you will get the next production. A derives A dot A. What? A derives A dot A. Now closure is operation required here? Yes, because dot is present to the non-terminal left of non-terminal. So here we apply the closure operation, and after applying the closure, you have to add the production related with this non-terminal A. So production related with non-terminal A are these: A derives dot AA, A derives dot B. Is closure operation still need to be performed? No. So this state also get completed. Okay. Now next production here is the A derives dot B. So here we will apply again the go to operation on the terminal B, and here you will get the where we are after applying the go to operation, you have to move this dot from left of this terminal B to the right. So after that you will get this state, and there is no need to perform the closure operation here because there is a nothing present after the dot. Okay, and this state we give it a name as I4. Okay. Now again we have to check whether we have reached to the final state for all the different state or not. Okay. Now this here we have reached to the final item, but this is using the augmented grammar, not using the original grammar. Okay. Now this particular final item will help us to announce, or it will help to the parser to announce whether particular string can be accepted or not. Okay, using this item, the parser can decide whether the particular string can be accepted or not. Okay, now come to the I2 state. Now I2 state, still we have to perform the go to operation here because dot is present at the left of this non-terminal A. So we'll perform the go to on the non-terminal A, and because of that we'll get this state go to on the non-terminal A. So when you perform the goto, you have to move the dot from left of that symbol to the right, and we get this state I5. Okay, this is another final item or the final state we have got. Again, related with this production, see, again you have to perform the goto operation. Okay, now related with this production, if you perform the goto operation, then what will happen? You will get this kind of state. If you see it carefully, you will get this kind of state, because if you see applying the goto, here, like you will get what? You will get this kind of thing. A derives A dot A. So dot is present to the left of non-terminal. You have to apply the closure. You have to add the production related with that non-terminal A, and you will get the state like this. Understood? So this state already we have generated. That is nothing but the state I3. That is the reason goto on the terminal A, we have shown arrow to the state 3. Goto on the terminal A, we have shown arrow to the state 3 here. Okay, instead of generating the new state. Okay, then next production here is what? A derives dot B. So if you apply the goto operation on A derives dot B, you have to move the dot from left of B to the right. So and you get the D state, that is the final state. Is this state already generated? Yes, this state is already generated as I4, and that is the reason here we have shown the arrow to the I4. Okay, now come to the state I3. Now same situation is here. If you apply the goto here on the non-terminal A, okay, then what is we are getting now related with this state? If you apply the goto, you have to move the dot from left of this non-terminal A to the right, and we'll get this state. Okay, goto on the non-terminal A. This is another final item we have got I6. Related with this second stage, if you apply the goto, you have to apply the goto on the terminal A. Okay, means you will get this kind of situation here. Okay, and that is the reason we have shown goto on the terminal A to the I3 itself, because if you apply the goto on the terminal A, we are going to get the same thing here. That is the reason we have shown the arrow to the I3 itself. Related with the third production, if you apply the goto on the terminal B, you are going to get this state, and this state already generated. That's why we have shown the arrow to the A deriving the B dot itself. Okay, so how many states we have got here? We have got the 6 state, and we have got the final item in the 4 state, but this state is the generated because of the augmented grammar. This final state or the final item we have got because of the augmented grammar. So we have to focus on the 3 final item that we have got, that is the I4, I5 and the I6. Okay, we have to focus on these 3 final items. Now, is the canonical collection can be further extended still? No, because here the canonical collection will stop, because we have got the final items. Now nothing is remaining now. Okay, and nothing is remaining to seen by the parser. What it means? Nothing is remaining to be seen by the parser, and it indicates what? The parser can now do the reduction. Okay, here, because here we have reached to the final item, here we have reached to the final item, here also we have reached to the final item. So meaning of reaching to the final item is what? Parser can now do the reduction. Okay, so this is the canonical collection of LR0 items. Okay, what you have to do? You have to apply the closure operation if required, and then you have to apply the goto operation. Closure operation, goto operation, closure operation, goto operation. When you are applying the goto, you have to move the dot from left of that particular symbol to the right. Symbol in the sense, if you can have to move the dot from terminal, also you have to move the dot from, even if there is a non-terminal also. But closure operation, or you have to apply only when there is a dot present to the left of non-terminal symbol. Okay, so in this way you have to generate the canonical collection of LR0 items. Okay, now next let's see the next important step, that is the constructing the LR0 parsing table. Okay, now we have understood how to generate the canonical collection of LR0 items. Now, next thing we have to do is how to construct the parsing table. Okay. Now let's see. Now this is already constructed parsing table. I will explain you how it is constructed. Okay. Now in the parsing table, you have to take the three columns. Okay. First column indicate the states. Second column indicate the action, and third column indicate the go to. Okay. Now in the state, from the canonical collection of item, you have to write down the states here first. I0, I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6. Whatever the states are getting generated in this canonical collection, okay, that states you have to put down in the state column. Okay. Then how to fill the action and the go to part. Now under the action column, you have to mention all the terminal symbol which is present there. Now in our grammar, which are the terminal symbols present? You can see A, B, and the dollar. By default, dollar you have to mention because dollar indicate the end of the particular string. Okay. So in the action part, what you have to mention? The terminal symbols. And in the go to part, you have to mention the non-terminal symbols. So in case of our grammar, we have the non-terminal symbol A and S. Okay, this is done. Next thing, now let's see how to add the entries. Okay, now we start from the I0 state. Okay, we start from the I0 state. Okay. Let's here I in the explanatory manner I have mentioned. Okay. Now you can see I0 on S is going to the I1. What? I0 on S is going to where? To the I1. Okay. So now I0 on S, now before that you must understand the previous part here. Some important points here. If a state is going to some other state, if there is a I0 state is going to some other state I1 on terminal, then that is considered as a shift move, or that is considered as a shift operation. Now, if there is a particular state moving to the another state on terminal, now here I0 is moving to the I3, on the terminal A. Now, in that case, what operation we have to perform? We have to perform the shift operation. Keep in mind, if there is a state is going to some other state on non-terminal variable or on non-terminal, if there is a particular state going to some other state on non-terminal, then in that case, what operation you have to perform? You have to perform, or you have to make the entry in the go to column. Where you have to make the entry? In the go to column. When there is a one state moving to the other state on terminal, then you have to make entry in the action column. Okay. And when there is a one particular state moving to the other state on non-terminal like this, now there is I0 moving to the I1 on non-terminal S, then you have to make the entry in the which column? Go to. You have to make the go to move. When you have to make the shift move and entry into the action column, when there is a state going to the other state on terminal, and when you have to make the entry and go to move into the go to column, when there is a one state going to the other state on the non-terminal. Okay. Third important thing it is mentioned here, if there is a state containing the final item in the particular row, then we have to make the reduce entries. Okay, when you have to make the reduce entry, when there is a particular state containing the final item. So these three important things are you should keep in mind. First is what? When there is a one state moving to the other state on terminal, then what operation you have to perform? Shift operation, and you have to make its entry in the action column. When there is a one state moving to the other state on the non-terminal or of the variable, then you have to make the entry in the go to column. And when the particular state contains the final item, then you have to make the entry of what? Reduce operation. Okay, let's see that in the example. Now you can see there is a I0 on S is going to the I1. Here you can see I0 on S is going to the I1. So that is the reason below the S, now we have to, in case of this, as I said, if there is a one state moving to the other state on non-terminal, then you have to make the entry in the go to column. And where you have to make the entry? Below that non-terminal symbol S. So non-terminal symbol is S. Now what entry you have to make? 1 here. Why you enter the 1 here? Because I0 on S is going to the state number 1. Okay. Then I0 on A is going to the I2. Again, I0 on A going to the I2. Okay. So under the, that is the reason under the non-terminal A, you have to make the entry of state number 2, because I0 on A is going to the state number 2. Okay. Then I2 on A is going to the I5. See here, I2 on A is going to the I5. I2 on A is going to the I5. So under the A, and so I2 is where here. I2 on A is going to where I5. So that is the reason under the A you have to make the entry of 5. Then I3 on A is going to the I6. I3 on A is going to the I6. That is the reason where is I3, state I3 on A is going to I6. That is the reason you have to make the entry of state number 6 here. Okay. Now related with the, now let's see related with the terminals. Okay. Now I0 on terminal A is going to the I3. I0 on terminal A is going to the I3. So I0 on terminal A is going to the I3. So here you have to make the shift entry. Now in order to make the shift entry, you have to mention the symbol S, and you have to also mention the state number 3. So that is the reason here you have mentioned S3, because I0 on terminal A is going to the I3. Okay. Then I0 on terminal B is going to the I4. I0 on terminal B is going to the I4. So when there is a move from one state to the another on terminal, then you have to make the shift entry. So here we make the shift entry with the state number 4, that is the S4. Then see where again you have to make here I2 on the terminal A is going to the I3. I2 on terminal A is going to the I3, that's why S3 here. Then I2 on the terminal B is going to the I4. I2 on the terminal B is going to the I4. That is the reason S4 is here. Okay. Then again, I3 on the terminal is going to the I3 itself. That is the reason I3 on the terminal A, S3. I3 on the terminal B is going to the I4. That is the reason S4 entry is here. Okay. Then now this is complete now. Up to this we have finished. Okay. Now up to this everything. Now if you now second technique in case of the LR parsing, we have the SLR1. Okay. Now in case of the SLR1, this all the part is similar. Okay, this all the part is similar. Now only remaining is what? Making the entry of reductions. Okay, making the entry of reductions. Okay. Now here related with the shift who I have mentioned I0, I2, I3 on A are going to the I3. So we write S3, which means shift that how to make these shift entries already I told you. How to make these entries also I told you. Okay, only remaining is how these things are coming. Okay, let's see that. Now you can see there we have the, as I said, we have to focus on final items. Okay. Now we have 3 final items here, which we have to focus. Now this final item will be only utilized to indicate whether the string is accepted or not. Now how it will be utilized, that we will see. Now 3 final items we have I5, I6, I4, I5, I6 here. So I4, I5, I6, all the states containing the final item. Because now why we are calling them as a final item? The reason behind that they contain the dot in the rightmost end. For the I4, you can see there is a dot at the rightmost end. For the I5, you can see there is a dot at the rightmost end. And for the I6 also, you can see there is a dot at the rightmost end. So then what exactly it means? The final items and the dot at the rightmost end. Okay. So what exactly it means? Let's see in the next slide. Now in order to make the entries of that thing, we have to give the production number to the production rules that we have written. So we have these 3 production rules excluding the augmented part. When you are numbering the production rules, you have to exclude the augmented part. So this is our production number 1. This is production number 2. And this is the production number 3. Okay. Now, if you see, Now you just keep in mind these production numbers, first, second, and the third. Okay. Now, if you see the I4, sorry, if you just see the I1 state, okay, if you just see the I1 state, now I1 state contain the final item, okay, which is our I1 state is nothing but what? S dash deriving the S dot. Okay. So regarding that particular I1 state, we have to make the entry in the action part as a I1 $. What? I1 $. And that is the reason here you can see I1 state, okay, I1 state on I1 state, and under the $, okay, with the I1 state under the $, you have to mention the accept. Okay, so because I1 contains the final item. What is the reason behind that? I1 contains the final item. And why we are marking or why we are writing accept below the $? Because as I said, $ indicate end of the particular input string. What $ indicate? End of the particular input string. So that is the reason we have to mark the accept below the $, and for which state? State number 1. Why for the state number 1? Because in the state number 1 we have got the final item S dash derives the S dot. Now dot after the starting symbol, what it indicates? That parser has seen everything. Now parser can take the decision related with the acceptance. Okay, so that is the reason below the $, you have to make the entry of accept. Same thing I have mentioned. I1 contains the final item which derives S dash derives S dot. So in the action column, we have to make the entry I1. We have to make the entry in the state I1. Okay, and in the state I1 below the $, you have to write the accept. This is the compulsory or the mandatory thing. Below the $, you have to mention the accept. Okay, that is the reason here you can see below the $, in the state I1 there is a $, because I1 state is what? S dot derive the S dot. Okay, that is the reason I said augmented grammar will help us to announce whether the string can be accepted or not. Okay, so this is also done. Now let's focus on the final item state. So I4 contain the final item. Here you can see the I4 contain the final item. Okay, and which is deriving the which is having the production rule like A derives the B dot. Okay, now this production number, if you see our previous slide, if you see our previous slide, we have the production number 1, 2, 3, and A derives B is the production number 3. Okay, so this particular production number is what? This is the production number 3. Okay, so what we'll do now, we will write R3. Where we will write the R3? What is the meaning of R3? R3 means reduction. R means reduction. Okay, and reduction because of the production number 3. That is the reason R3. Now where you have to make the entry of R3? Now you have to make the entry of R3. Okay, now in which final item we have got this in which final state we have got the A derives B dot? In the state number I4. In which state we have got that final item? That we have to see. In which state we have got the final item? In the I4 state. So you have to see the I4 state, and in the I4 state, in the entire row, you have to mention the R3, R3, R3. That is the reason here you are coming the R3. Okay, so what we have to, how do you have to make the reduce entry here? You have to see the final item. Okay, and in that final item you have to see its production number. Now its production number is 3. Okay, its production number is 3. That's why you have to make the entry as R3, and where you have to make the entry? In the state number I4. Okay, then I5 contain the final item. Second is what? I5 also contain the final item with the production S derived AA dot. Now this is the production number 2. S derives AA dot. It is the production number. It is the which number of production number is there? S derives AA. Let's see. S derives AA. It is a production number 1. Okay, S derives AA. Okay, so S derives AA. Now let's for the understanding, I just mark here production grammar. Okay, S derives, we have the S derives A, then so S derives AA, then A derives AA or B. Okay, so this is our production number 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So our final item in the state I5, our you can see this is the production number 1. So that is the reason here you can see in the I5 state you have to make the entry as a R1 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 in the entire row. R1 R1 R1. Why? Because we have got the final item in the I5 state and its production number is what? 1. That is the reason R1 R1 R1. Next final item we have the I6. So I6 contain the final item which derive the AA dot, and that production correspond to the production number 2, this production number. So for this we have to mention the R2, but in the which state? I6. So in the I6, in the entire row we mention the R2 R2 R2, and in this way you have got your parsing table. Okay, you have got your parsing table. So 3 or 4 important things you have to keep in mind. First is what? In the go to part you have to mention the non-terminal. In the action part you have to mention the terminals. In the states you have to mention the state numbers. Okay, and whenever there is a move on the from one particular state to the another state on the non-terminal, then you have to make its entry under the non-terminal in the go to column. Whenever there is a movement from one state to the another state on the terminal, then you have to make its entry in the action column, and its entry you have to make it as a shift. Okay, and related with the reduction entries, you have to see the final items, and you have to give the numbering to the production, which is a part of your grammar, and accordingly you have to make the entry of reduction, and reduction entry you have to make in the entire row. Okay, for entire row you have to make the reduction entries. So that is the one of the disadvantage in case of the LR0 parser. You have to make the reduction entries for the entire rows. For all the terminal symbols which are present there, you have to make the reduction entries. Okay, so that is nothing but our third step, that is the construction of LR0 parsing table. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so this in this way you got this LR0 parsing table. Okay, okay, that already we have seen how to make the now one more important point you should keep in mind, where to make the entry of accept. So you have to make the entry of accept below the dollar, and in which state? In the particular state where you have got that particular final item. Okay, now let's see the next step. So our next step is nothing but important step, parsing the particular string. Now we have given this particular string AABB dollar, and we have given this grammar, we have numbered this grammar, and using this we have to parse the string. And in order to parse this string, we are going to take the help of what? We are going to take the help of the LR0 parsing table. Okay, now let's see the LR0 parse. Now this is the parsing table, same parsing table that we have constructed. Okay, same parsing table that we have constructed. Now let's see how to parse. Now this is our stack. Okay, this is our stack. Okay, consider this as our input buffer. In the input, our input buffer, we have the input string. Now we'll start with the starting state 0. We'll start with the starting state 0. Okay, and our pointer will be at this point, because this is the string we have to parse. Okay, so in the table you have to see what you have to see: 0 on the terminal A. In the table you have to see 0. Okay, you have to see 0 on the terminal A. 0 on terminal A. So 0 on the terminal A is what? 0 on the terminal A is S3, means shift move. Now, in order to make the shift move, how you are going to make how you are going to make its entry in the stack. So shift move you have to perform on the terminal A, 0 on terminal A. So how you are going to make the its entry? So its entry will be made like this: A and state number. Now what is the state number? 3. Okay. So how you will make the shift move on the stack? Like this: terminal A and the state number 3. Okay. So then when you make the shift move, then your pointer will be get incremented. Okay, in the input buffer. Next, you have to see what is the top of the stack. 3. 3 on A. State number 3. So here in this stack, you have to make the entries of two things. First entry, you have to make the entry of terminal, and second thing, you have to make the entry of the particular state number. So state number was 3. Okay, S3. Shift move was there, so that's why we make the entry here as a 3. Okay. Now 3 on the A. State number 3 on the A. Again, we have the shift move here. Okay, shift move on the terminal A again. So you have to make the shift, you have to make the entry on the stack as A. Okay, and S3 means state number 3. That's why the 3 here. Okay. Then again, when you perform the shift move, increment the pointer. Then 3 on B. 3 on B. So 3 on B. Again, you have to perform the shift move, but with the state number 4. So what is the terminal now? B. B and state number 4. State number 4. Okay. Then 4 on B. Now after performing this shift move, again you have to increment the pointer. Okay. Now 4 on B. Now what is the 4 on B? 4 on B. Now 4 on B is the reduction movement. Is what? Reduce movement. Reduce operation we have to perform. Now whenever there is a reduction operation we have to perform, you have to follow the certain steps here. So what certain steps you have to follow here? Okay, certain steps you have to follow is like do reduction. Here you can see here 4 steps you have to follow. Do reduction means what? Now your current pointer is at this point. Okay, but now you don't have to perform the reduction of this B, but you have to perform the reduction of this B. Okay, what you have to perform? You have to perform the reduction of this B. Now our input pointer currently was at this point. Okay, but we have to perform the reduction of this B. The reason behind that is what? The LR0 parser doesn't have the effect of look ahead. Okay, it doesn't have the utilization of look ahead symbol. Okay, it doesn't consider the look ahead symbol. That is the reason. Even if our increment pointer has this symbol terminal B, second B, you have to reduce its previous symbol. What you have to reduce? Its previous symbol means we will stand here, parser will stand here, and then parser will perform the reduction movements. So we will reduce this B. Now you can see B can be reduced to what? B can be reduced to non-terminal A. So that is the reason here we will write the non-terminal A. So we will do the reduction. Then next step, what you have to perform? Pop the top of the stack. Now what is on the top of the stack? Now top of the stack there is these 4 and these B. Okay. So these two things you have to pop. These 4 and these B you have to pop. Okay. Then third, push left hand side on the stack. Which left hand side? Now here we have performed the reduction. Now what is the left hand side of this grammar? A. So we push left hand side of that grammar on the stack. So we'll push A here. Okay. And fourth step, add top of the stack with the state number. What? Add the top of the stack with the state number. Now which state number? Now we have to see what is the top of the stack now A. Now what is below the A now? 3. So in the parsing table you have to see 3 on non-terminal A. 3 on non-terminal A is what? 6. Okay, so you have to add the top of the stack with the state number 6 here. You have to add the top of the stack with the state number 6 here. Okay, and now carry on with our next process. Now our increment pointer was this at this point. Okay, whenever reduction we have to perform, you don't have to perform the reduction of current increment pointer symbol, or the symbol which is being pointed by the current increment pointer, but you have to perform the reduction of its previous symbol. That is the reason here we have reduced its previous symbol, terminal B. Now continue now. 6 on the terminal B. 6 on the terminal B. Now what is the top of the stack? 6. So that's the reason here we have to see 6 on terminal B is what? 6 on terminal B is a reduction movement. So again you have to perform the reduction. Okay. Now R2. Reduction is what? R2. Okay. Now where is our R2? Means second production number here. Now AA, here you can see AA will be reduced to A. Okay, so first we do the reduction. So which AA? This small a, okay, and this capital A. This small and this capital A will be reduced to A. Okay, then pop top of the stack. Now here you are reducing the 2 symbol. Here you are reducing the 2 symbol to the 1 symbol. Now in the previously we have reduced this 1 symbol to the 1 symbol, and that is the reason when you are doing the reduction, first thing you have to keep in mind, you have to pop the state number as well as you have to pop the particular symbol also related with that state. Okay, if there is a one symbol is getting reduced to the another symbol, then you have to pop the 2 entries. When there is a 2 symbols in the RHS, you have to reduce to the LHS, then you have to pop the 4 symbol of the stack. Okay, this is very important. When you are reducing one symbol of RHS to the LHS, then you have to make the pop, you have to pop how many symbol from the top of the stack? 2 symbols. 2 symbols in the state number and particular symbol. When there are the when you are reducing the 2 symbol of RHS to the LHS, then how many entries you have to pop out of the stack? 4 entries. Okay, now here our situation is here. Here you are reducing the AA to the A. So you are reducing the 2 symbols to the LHS. So how many entries you have to reduce from the top of the stack? 4 entries from the top of the stack. Which 4 entries? This one. See which 4 entries? This one and this one. Okay, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, then next is what? Push left hand side on the stack. Now what is the left hand side of this production number 2? A. So we'll push A on the stack. Then add top of the stack with the state number. Now which state number we have to add on top of stack? So for that you have to see the top of the stack is A. Below this top of the stack, which state is there? Which particular entry is there? 3. So you have to see 3 on A. 3 on A is again 6. Okay, again you have to make the entry of 6 here. Okay, then next carry on 6 on the B. 6 on B. Okay. 6 on B, 6 on B, C. 6 on B again. 6 on B again we have the reduction R2, same thing. AA will be reduced to A. So first we will do the reduction, and now what will be reduced to what? C. Now this A and this non-terminal A will reduce to A. Okay, then pop top of the stack. Now you are reducing the 2 symbol of RHS to the LHS. So how many entries you have to pop out of the stack? 4 entries. This one and this one, as well as this one and this one. Okay, then push left hand side on the stack. Now left hand side on the stack A. Okay, Then add top of the stack with the state number. Now which state number you will add on the top of the stack? So top of the stack is what? This A. And what is the below that? This 0. Now 0 on A. 0 on A. So you have to make the entry of which state? State number 2 here. Okay. Then carry on to, now our increment pointer is standing at this B only, and we are performing the reduction. So 2 on B. 2 on B is S4. 2 on B is S4, means shift movement. So here we have to perform the shift movement. What you are going to add? You will first add the terminal related with that B, and then you add the state number 4. Okay. So after performing the shift move, the pointer will be incremented to the dollar now. Okay. Now next thing, 4 on the dollar. 4 on dollar is what? Reduction. R3 means this one. B will reduce to A. What? B will reduce to A. Now our increment pointer is now at this dollar. Now we'll not reduce the dollar, we'll reduce which symbol? The symbol which is present previous to the dollar. So symbol which is present previous to the dollar is this B. So we'll reduce this B. Now B is reduced to what? A. Okay, do the reduction. Then pop top of the stack. Now how many symbol we have to pop? One. Here we are reducing the one symbol from RHS to the LHS. So how many entries you have to pop from the top of the stack? 2 entries. So this will get pop, this will get pop. Then push LHS on the stack. Push LHS on the stack. Now what is the LHS? A. So A will push on the stack. Then add top of the stack with the state number. So which state number will add on the top of the stack? 2 on A we have to see. What? 2 on A is 5. So we'll add the 5 on the top of the stack. Now carry on. 5 on the dollar. 5 on the dollar is reduction movement, R1. So you have to see the production number 1. A is reduced to S. So reduction. Now which A will reduce to S? This A, and this A will reduce to S. Then pop top of the stack. Now you are reducing 2 symbol from RHS to the LHS. So how many reduction you have to, how many pop entries you have to do from the stack? 4. This one, then this one, and this one. Then push LHS on the stack. Now what is the LHS of production number 1? S. So S will be pushed on the stack. Then add top of the stack with the state number. Now which state number we add at top of the stack? 0 on S. 0 on S means 1 you have to add on the top of the stack. Okay. Then carry on. 1, and our increment pointer is at the dollar only. 1 at the dollar. 1 at the dollar. So 1 at the dollar. Now we have got the accept here. Which movement you have to make? Accept, which indicates what? The successful parsing. Which indicate what? Successful parsing here. Okay, because 0 on 1 we are reaching to what? 0 sorry 1 on the dollar, sorry, 1 on the dollar, what we are getting? Acceptance. So which indicate what? This particular string is syntactically correct, because 1 on dollar we are reaching to the accept state, and this is nothing but considered as a successful parsing. Okay, now same thing what we have done here, that I have put down here in the similar way. Okay, you can, so you just follow the steps that I have told you one by one and try to solve this example once again. Okay, so whenever you are performing the reduction movement, you have to follow these 3-4 important steps. And whenever you perform the reduction, you don't have to perform the reduction of that current symbol which is pointed by the incremented pointer, but you have to perform the reduction of its previous symbol. And that is the reason this particular parser, first parser under the LR parsing technique, this particular parser is called as what? LR0. Why it is called as LR0? Because reason behind that it is called as a LR0, because we are not reducing the symbol which is currently pointed by the incremented pointer, but we are reducing its previous symbol. which indicate what? There is a no, what we can say, effect of the look ahead pointer or the look ahead symbol. There is a no consideration regarding the look ahead symbol. That is the reason it is called as a LR0 parser. Okay. Now, and in this way, you can solve the example related to LR0 parsing. Okay. Now, let's see the next important technique. Okay, next important technique. That is our second parser in case of the LR parsing, table driven parsing. So, okay, first was our LR0 parser. Okay. Second is our SLR1. So, second technique in case of our LR0 parsing is what? SLR1 parsing. Okay. Now it's SLR1, name given to it as SLR1 because its long form is simply simple LR parsing. Okay, what? Simple LR parsing. Now it is almost same as compared with the LR0 parsing. Okay, the only difference is nothing but the constructing the parsing table. Okay, only difference is here is what? Constructing the parsing table. Okay, and it is being referred as a SLR1 because it consider the one look ahead symbol. Okay, every time during the parsing, it consider the one look ahead symbol, which is not considered in case of our previous parser, that is the LR0 parser. That is the reason that was considered the LR0. And here it consider the one look ahead symbol while parsing. That is the reason it is referred as a SLR1. Look ahead symbol, what is the use of look ahead symbol? Already I told you it indicates the next symbol which is to be parsed. Look ahead pointer or the look ahead symbols benefit is what? It gives the idea to the parser in advance which next symbol to be parsed. That is the reason. That is the reason this parsing technique is referred as the SLR1. Okay. Now only difference in case of SLR1 and LR0 is way of constructing the parsing table. Okay. Now in case of the SLR parsing table, same we have to utilize the canonical collection of LR0 items only. Okay. Only difference in case of SLR1 and LR0 is what? In case of the LR0, we have seen when you are making the reduction entries in the parsing table, you are making the reduction entries in the whole row. We are making the reduction entries the whole row of that particular table. But that is not the case in case of SLR1. Okay, in case of the SLR1, we are going to place the reduction movements or reduction entries only in the follow-up left-hand side. What? We are going to put the reduction entry where? In the follow-up left-hand side instead of making the entry in the whole row. Okay, so let's see how it can be done. So steps in the constructing or steps in the SLR1 parsing is same as compared with the LR0. First, we have to generate the augmented grammar. Then you have to create the generation of canonical collection of LR0 items. Then constructing the parsing table and the parsing the input string. It is same just as a LR0. Okay. So first step, as I said, add generate the augmented grammar from given original grammar. So this is our original grammar. From that we generate the augmented grammar like this. Okay, that already I told you how to generate it. This is the same example we are carrying. Okay. Then do the canonical collection of LR0 items. The similar way we have do the canonical collection of LR0 items that we have done in case of LR0 parser. Because as in the initial slide I told you, the SLR1 parser utilize the canonical collection of LR0 parser, and the SLR1 parser utilize the canonical collection of LR0 items only. So the process of getting the canonical collection of LR0 items for SLR1 parser is the similar. Okay. Then constructing the parsing table. Okay. So constructing the parsing table up to this part, it is also the similar thing. If you compare this parsing table with the parsing table of LR0, everything is similar. Only difference is what that we are going to see. Okay, so this is the parsing table of LR0 parser. Okay, this is the parsing table of LR0. Now we are going to convert into the parsing table of SLR1. Okay, same thing I have mentioned here, the way we have discussed in case of the LR0 parser. Okay, now you can see here same entries we have made. Okay, now only difference that we are going to see is in the constructing the parsing table. Okay. So second step we have finished. Second step is constructing the second step is the canonical collection of LR0 atoms. Okay. Now third step is our constructing the parsing table, SLR1 parsing table. Now in order to construct the SLR1 parsing table, usual way you have to number the production number like this 1, 2, 3. Similarly, we have done in the LR0 also. Okay. So here it is not the LR0, it is the SLR1 parsing table we are constructing here. Okay, SLR1. So and as I said, in case of SLR1 parsing table of LR0 and the SLR1, only difference is what? In case of SLR1, we are going to place the reduced entries in the follow of left hand side. Here we are going to make the reduced entries in the follow of left hand side. So for that purpose, we have to calculate the follow of given grammar. Okay, what we have to do first while constructing the parsing table, we have to calculate the follow of given grammar. So we have this production rule. So follow up S is the dollar itself. Now how to calculate the follow, that in the physical lecture already I told you. So follow up S is what? Dollar. Okay. Follow up A is what? Now follow up A is first of A and follow up starting symbol. So first of A is what? A and B. So follow up A, we have A and B and dollar. Again, related with this A also, we have the follow up A is similar. So first you have to calculate the follow of particular non-terminal symbol given in the grammar when you are constructing the parsing table for SLR1. Okay. Now I already know in the given example, in the canonical collection, we have the I4, I5, I6, which are containing the final items because they have the dot in the rightmost end. Okay. So accordingly, let's see the how we can construct the parsing table. Okay. Now, if you see, this part is similar, just as we have construct the parsing table for LR0. Similar steps you have to apply. Similar steps you have to apply until this part. Means similar steps you have to apply for the shift movement, and similar steps you have to apply in order to make the entries for the go to part. Only difference will come in case of reduction movements. Okay, only difference will come in case of making the entries for the reduction movements. Okay, so related with the accept entry also, you have to make according to the LR0 parser only. Here we have make the accept entries for the I1 state, because in the I1 state we have got the final item because of the augmented grammar. Okay, so that's why in the below the dollar we make the entry of accept, because dollar indicate what? End of the particular input string. So end of the input string means what? The string can be accepted. Okay. So when the parser will reach to the dollar, it simply indicates what? The string has been accepted. That is the reason below the dollar we are making the entry of accept here. Okay. Now let's see how to make the entries of reduction movements. As I said, up to this part, everything is similar. Only we have to think about how to make the reduction entries in case of constructing the parsing table for SLR1. Okay. Okay, here is the SLR1. Okay, SLR1 parsing table. Okay, and we are discussing the SLR1 parser only. Okay, so let's see how to make the reduction entry in case of the SLR1 parser. So now, as you know, we have to focus on the final item when you are making the reduction entries. So we have the final item with the final state, I4, I5 and the I6. So I4 contain the final item. Okay, and that final item is like this. Now we have the state already. We have, as I said, you have to number the production number like S deriving the AA. This is our first production. Then A deriving the AA is the second. And then we have the again A deriving the small b, third. Okay, let's see. So I4 contains the final item, A derives the B dot, means this production number, and that production number corresponds to the production number 3, as I said. So now we're not going to write the R3 as a reduction entry in the entire row, just like we have done in case of LR0. But in case of the SLR1, we are not going to make the entry of R3 in the entire row, but we'll write the reduced movement, or we'll make the entry of reduced movement in the follow-up A. Why in the follow-up A? Because this production number 3, its starting symbol is A. So we have to make entry in the follow-up A. So follow-up A already we have calculated. Follow-up A is what? A, B, and the dollar. So you have to make the reduction entry as R3 below the A, below the A, below the B, and below the dollar. So here you have make entry. Similar, I5 contain the final item, which is the S derives AA dot. Now S derives AA dot is the this one, production number 1, and that production number correspond to the production number 1. So we'll not write R1. Now why we are writing R1? R indicate the reduction, 1 indicate the state number. Okay. Now we'll not make the entry of R1 in the entire row, but we'll make the entry of reduce move in the follow-up S. Why the follow-up S? Because this production number is 1, its starting symbol is S, you have to take the follow-up S. So follow-up S already we have calculated, that is a dollar. So we'll make the entry of reduction only below the dollar here. Okay, we will not make the entry of reduction movement in the whole column. We will make the entry of reduction only in the below the dollar. Okay. Similar for the next final state, that is the I6. Now I6 contain the final item which derives the AA dot, and this AA dot is the production number 2. So we'll not write the R2 in the entire row, but we'll write the reduced movement in the follow-up A. So follow-up A is the AB and the dollar. So that is the reason below the A, below the B, and the below the dollar in the state number 6, you have to make the reduced entries. Okay. So in this way, you can see we are making the reduced entries in case of the SLR1 parser only in the follow-up left-hand side. Now, what benefit we are getting because of that? Okay. Now, if you compare the parsing table of the SLR1 and parsing table of LR0, now you can see here, you can see these empty positions. Now empty positions in case of the SLR1 parsing tables are more. Okay, empty position in case of empty position of SLR parsing table are more as compared with the LR0. Okay, which indicates what? SLR1 is the SLR performance of the SLR parser is more as compared with the LR parser. Now, what is meaning of these empty positions? Now, empty positions indicates the error detections. In case of this parsing table, empty position indicate what? Error detection. So, from that we can conclude SLR1 parser is having the more empty position in the parsing table. That is the reason it is more capable to determine the errors, or it is more capable to detect the errors as compared with the LR0 parser. If you see the parsing table of LR0, in the LR0 parsing table, the empty positions are less. Empty positions are less as compared with the parsing table of our SLR1. So that is the reason SLR1 is considered as a more powerful as compared with the LR0. So rest of the thing like parsing the string is similar, just like we have parsed the string in case of the LR0. So only difference in case of the LR0 versus SLR1 is what? How the parsing table is get constructed. Only difference is what? How the parsing table is get constructed. Okay. So that's it from this lecture. If you have any doubt, you can comment me in the comment section. Okay, I will definitely answer the whatever doubts you have. So we just go through the from the initial part, and you need to practice it once again, so that you will get the clear idea about the what is the LR0 parser and what is the SLR1 parser. Okay, so that's it. Thank you all of you.